Hi guys, Artiar here. So for this video, we'll be going through the loyalty chest 7, which is we have it at 3.4.19 patch. So this patch here, we're gonna go through the priority tier list for my own opinion as well. So we're gonna have R2, R4, and R6 session. I'm gonna put a timestamp so you can feel free to go to the timestamp that you need. So loyalty chest 7 here, we're gonna have Tangshan, Liling, Narmer, Intisa, Yunchuan, Changji, Elaine, and Ollie. So maybe it's kind of like the worst box in some players' opinion, because I saw on Reddit they say like this box is like the worst loyalty box. But in my opinion, there's actually a few Esper that's actually pretty good in the meta. So I'll go through one by one. So the first one, the Esper here, R2, Tangshan. No, just skip him. He is like and Liling as well. So these two Esper here is like the starter Esper, right? They are both pretty good at the start, but at the end of the game, you don't really use them any content at all. Maybe Liling have slightly higher value than Tangshan is because we have a meta Liling, and meta Liling's R1 effect is based on your Liling's reso. So every single reso on Liling will affect on your meta Liling to get extra boost. So if you have a meta Liling and it's R1, then Liling reso will be higher value than Tangshan. So really depends on, do you use meta Liling? Do you have meta Liling at R1? And then Liling's value will go high. But in my opinion, both R2 just instantly no. You don't really need them. Then for Narmer R2, you increase the max stack of the Burning Sun to 12. Then when you cast the S3, it gains extra Burning Sun. To be honest, I would say no, because if you really want to use Narmer, it's about R6. Without R6, I would just say don't even use Narmer, because if you use Narmer, it's most likely it's going to use for the speedrun content. Because in terms of AoE damage, we have better choice. Then for Intisa R2, I would say it's either not bad or best, but I would say kind of like the not bad side, because if you don't have the stealth mode, then you'll launch a pursuit damage with your transmit virus. Then transmit virus is the one that deals defend down and do AoE damage, that deals extra true damage. So it's somewhere at best and not bad. The reason why I didn't put Intisa at best is because Intisa usage is pretty niche. The most usage I would say is Chronos, or maybe some niche content that is like the previous anomaly, the Torch Dragon. But we have no idea if they're gonna rerun Torch Dragon in the future or other content. So since she's pretty niche, so I would say it's not bad, but it's not like the best priority. Then for Yunchuan here, R2 definitely the best. The assist damage from the third eye seal is the best reso you can get. If you don't have him R2, get him R2. Changji wise, I would say it's either no to not bad. Like the R2 effect of Changji is pretty good, but there's no content for Changji to use. So I would say no, because even though R2 Changji, the value for Changji R2 is good, but you don't have any content for it. Then for Elaine here, Elaine R2 is your defense ignore multiplier increased from 25% to 50%, and you have a chance to ignore the defense of attacking enemy without sleep. Then the chance increased to 100% when enemy will sleep. So if enemy got sleep, then you can ignore the defense of 50% of it. It's actually very strong, and Elaine is pretty used in Fafnir, like the speedrun Fafnir. Elaine does a massive job, and Elaine is also doing a massive job in Probator as well. So I would say R2 Elaine is still the best as well. Not same tier, like if the priority wise this one is higher, but Elaine's R2 effect is actually pretty strong as well. Then the last one for the R2 effect here is Ollie. Ollie R2 effect makes your invincibility and recovery extend to 2 turns. So it's pretty good if you use Ollie for the PvP. If you pair Ollie with Mavis together, the 2-turn invincibility is actually coming very handy. Overall, I would say it's not bad for the Ollie, because the invincibility doesn't come in too massive changes, like just extra 1 turn, and you can dispel it very easily. In Chronos, the Ollie value for R2 isn't that high, because 1 turn or 2 turn doesn't change a lot. So this is the R2 part for the priority, and now let's look at the R4. Alright, so this part here is for the R4 priority. So same thing, Changji just straight go into the no, because when the defense is lower than Changji damage increase, yes, it's good for Changji, but then we have no content for him even in PvP, so instantly a no. Then for Narmer here, R4, the first ability cast in the battle deals 15% damage. Same thing, Narmer needs the R6, so definitely a no in my opinion. Then Lilin here, also no, because no content for him, and it really depends on do you want leading, do you have meta leading R1, right? So Tangshen here saying no, so they are like the bench for it. And then for Intisa R4 here is pretty interesting, because if you have Intisa R4, then your single target ability is higher than the target 35% true damage, then you deal additional true damage. It's actually not bad, the value for Intisa, because usually when you use Intisa, it's pretty niche content, you're gonna do a lot of max HP damage, so I would say it's not bad. Then the next one is gonna be Ollie. Ollie R4 effect here gives you damage taken reduction before taking the first turn in the combat. It's pretty good for tankiness in PvP, but I would say it's not really that important anymore, because damage reduction is pretty common in PvP now. Like if you can use Sakura, you can use Sally, all this thing. The 30% here is not really worth the rezo in my opinion, but it's actually a good thing for getting like higher rezo for the R6 effect, all those stuff. But overall, if we just base on the effect, I would just say no. Then the next one is gonna be Elaine. So Elaine here, R4 effect is extra damage. So R4 effect here give you when the target is on incapacitate, which is kind of like stun or sleep, damage increase. So I would say it's not bad, because if you use Elaine, if you can make enemy stun, which is sleep, then you can do extra damage. It's actually a very good thing. Then for Yunchuan here, I would say it's either somewhere best to not bad, because it's on element advantage, but not all cases have element advantage. So I would say not bad. So R4 wise, I would say every aspect here is kind of equal, not too like big difference. So R4 here doesn't really matter too much. You can go fit it by yourself. Alright, then the last one, the section here is the R6. So the R6 effect for Yunchuan, if you already have R5, it's not really the most priority to get already, because the more like all the stats boost, you already get it. So I would say the Yunchuan here is going to be not bad, because when you get attacked, then you have a 15% chance to block the damage. If the enemy got third ICU, you double the chance, which is 30% to block the damage. It's pretty good for if you're using Yunchuan fighting in Falsetto Fantasy, and if you really rely on the block to survive, like if your survivability on the tip is not really that high, the R6 effect comes in pretty handy. So it depends on your situation. But if you don't really need the block chance, then you can focus on the other aspect about their R6 effect. Then for Elaine here, Elaine will always in the Night Goddess mode, so you don't need her to cast like the S3 to get the Night Goddess mode. But in my opinion, you don't really need the R6 effect on Elaine other than PvP content, because in PvE she rotates her Night Goddess mode pretty fast, pretty consistent, so you don't really need the R6 effect in my opinion, unless you want to increase the Wishstone gain after you get your Esper to R6. Then R6 for Intisa, you gain attack up. The attack up that you gain for herself is gonna be AoE attack up. So this AoE attack up is pretty good, but same thing, it's gonna niche content, so in my opinion it's not really that worth it. Then for Ollie here, upon a crit, then your passive cooldown reduce. It's actually pretty good for PvP content, because in PvP content, every time you crit, let's say you build Ollie with Avatara, every time you crit, then you're gonna reduce your cooldown very fast, then you're gonna re-put the invincibility on your target, especially on maybes very often if the enemy doesn't have a very consistent dispel. So in my opinion, Ollie have the best R6 effect. And then Tangshen here, R6 is actually not bad, because Tangshen, when you go up to R6, then your splash damage become like AoE damage. It's pretty good for certain like let's say Wind Tower here, Tangshen, it will become an AoE damage dealer. So overall I would say Tangshen R6 is actually a not bad value. Then for Lilin here, no, doesn't really do anything. Then Narmer here, definitely go up to R6, because Narmer, if you have him for R6, then he can do a lot of speedrun wave content like APAP, or maybe like Yinglong, memory reef. There's a lot of content that is actually able to make Narmer shine after he reaches R6, because every time the Burning Sun stack reach max, then he can cast the AoE damage once. So it's actually a very strong effect when he goes up to R6. Then for Changji here, no, because there's no content for him, even in Inferno Tower, right? So basically, alright, then this is the part of the Divinate. So first aspect we're gonna go through is the Narmer's Divinate. So Narmer Divinate, at the start of the round, the Narmer will instantly get attack up, which is with a 100% chance. And this is actually the best Divinate for Narmer, because if you have this Divinate here, you can get the buff a lot more easier, because you get attack up instantly, and then the attack up is actually very valuable for Narmer because he needs the AoE damage here. And more buff for Narmer means easier Burning Sun stack, and Burning Sun stack means more AoE damage. So it's definitely one of the best Divinate for Narmer, and you need the stats up for the boost Narmer attack as well. Then for Ollie here, Divinate is also the best value, because before you catch your S3, you 100% chance to get attack up, and you get extra stats from it as well. It's very strong against Chrono Speedrun, because Chrono Speedrun, Ollie is one of your best DPS Esper, especially if you want to achieve very low turn. And that Ollie definitely needs his Divinate, because you want every single attack stats you are able to get is very strong. Then for Tangquan's Divinate, when Tangquan's HP is above 70%, then Rytov's anger damage increase, which is his S1. It's actually pretty good. Overall, it's not bad for his like the synergize, right? If you really want to use Tangquan for the Wind Tower, overall is the Divinate is going to help you. Then for Yunchuan here, Divinate wise, at the start of the round, you instantly get attack up for 1 turn, and stats boost as well. For now, it's actually pretty not bad or best as best now. If you're using Falsetto Fantasy, Yunchuan Divinate is actually pretty good now, because we're no longer using Haley to apply the equipment sharing to Ambla if in terms of meta team, alright? In terms of meta team, we're no longer using Haley to pair with Yunchuan Ambla team. That's the old meta team we used to be. Now Haley is more used like pairing with Slon or the other or Elif. Then it's not really with the Yunchuan team anymore, so Yunchuan can safely use his Divinate. So it's either a not bad at somewhere not bad to best. So if you use Yunchuan more about Falsetto Fantasy, then I would say best, or if not, it will be not bad. So personally for me, I use Falsetto Fantasy a lot with Yunchuan, so I would say it's actually one of the best as well. Then for Changji here, Changji's Divinate here, when your HP is full, then your final damage increase. So first thing, Changji is very niche. Second thing, your HP have to be full to trigger the condition. So no, it's not really worth to go for the Divinate. Unless you're going for Changji's Material Lab, then maybe not bad, or else I would say no. Then for leading here, before you cast your Altar, which is your S3, before you cast S3 AoE damage, you get attack up for 2 turns. It's pretty good, but overall I would say in Inferno Tower I would prefer other Inferno Esper. I would not gonna use Liling. Okay, then for Intisa Divinate here, when she's in stealth mode, your Torrent Horse final damage increase, and Torrent Horse is your S2. Your S2 damage the final damage increase is not really that important, because you don't really use Intisa S2 that much. When you use Intisa in the niche content, it's most likely it's going to be her S1 or S2. S1 or S3, because there's single target damage, and single target damage will let her trigger her true damage from her R4 effect. Then the last one here is Elaine. So Elaine Divinate here, when she is at Night Goddess mode, her Obelian strike damage increase, which is her S2. S2 is also one of her main DPS damage, and if you're using her in Fafnir or Propator, it's actually one of the best damage dealer Divinate for Elaine as well. So that's all for this Divinate tier list in my opinion. You most likely is all gonna be the DPS Esper gonna get the Divinate, then the rest here really depends on your choice, but this is all based on my own opinion. If you want some specific Divinate for the Bacterial Lab, such as Changji for example, then you can go for that path. Okay, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and see you guys in the next one. Bye bye. That's all for this video. This loyalty box isn't too interesting in my opinion. Yeah, I agree with that, because most of the Esper here is not like the meta Esper like the previous one. We have like Mateo, Nora, like these two are freaking good Esper that can be used in a lot of content like PvP and PvE as well. And yeah, so basically that's all for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Feel free to comment down what rezo you're going for, and see you guys in the next one. Bye bye. Special thanks for the direct support on the YouTube membership. So for the benefactor of Artiar, which is Yakishiba Tales, Epic Bullet Boy, thank you so much for your support. And for the supporter or patron of Artiar, which is Louis Schneider, Agni, Wang Tamer, Ziggy, Kamaruki, Sunwalks, Rimu, Chani, Antonio Winterspoon, Ilm Cragren, Riku Fred X Iris, Calamity, Rocco Stenzions, thank you so much for your support. Special thanks for the direct support on the live stream super chat for the latest tag. Thank you so much for Code Wilderness, Calamity, Agni, Love Fatima, Fatima Little Underwear, Bloods, Riku Fred, Chani. Thank you so much for your support.